It is 4:47 a.m. on the 22nd of October 2025. The Caribbean Sea is dark, calm, and almost silent. Then everything changes in one violent moment. 4 supersonic missiles rise from the coast near Puerto Cabello and race straight toward the US destroyer USS Nitze. Their white trails slice across the sky fast enough to make the horizon glow. Inside the bridge, the first warning is sound, not sight. A long, sharp alarm cuts through the air, shaking everyone awake. For 3 seconds, nobody speaks. Every sailor knows what that tone means. On the radar screen, 4 red icons appear low over the water, closing distance fast. They hold a tight formation, flying just above the waves. The watch officer stares at the screen and whispers, "They launched. They really launched." The ship's alarms erupt across every hallway. Crew members jump from their racks and run to stations. In the Combat Information Center, the captain steps forward, calm but focused, and gives the first order of the fight. The next minutes will decide if the ship lives or dies. This moment matters because it happens in one of the most sensitive corridors in the Caribbean. The USS Nitze is not just passing through. It is there to keep the sea lanes open, the same routes used by fuel ships, cargo vessels, and patrols that move between the Gulf and the Atlantic every day. Any attack here shakes the whole region. For the crew, this patrol was supposed to be routine. Most nights, the biggest concern is weather or small boats. But in the days before the strike, US intelligence saw clear warning signs on the Venezuelan coast. Radar trucks shifted positions. Mobile launchers appeared, then vanished. Radio traffic increased at strange hours. These patterns always mean one thing: someone is preparing for something bigger. The Nitze's location that morning was chosen for a reason. If Venezuela ever tried a real attack, this was the angle where a missile had the best chance of hitting a ship. That is why 4 incoming 800 seconds were a direct threat, not just another drill. They carried a message. This was a deliberate move, not a mistake. For the sailors on board, the danger is personal. A destroyer is a tight community. When the alarm sounds, every sailor thinks about the people around them: the engine crew, the watch team, the cook starting breakfast. If even one missile breaks through, everything changes in seconds. If the Nitze had been hit, the consequences for the region would be immediate. More tension, more military movement, and far less safety for every ship using these waters. That is why this single moment matters far beyond the Nitze itself. And now it raises a question for you watching. When one side fires first, who do you believe was right to act? Press 1 if the Nitze had no choice but to stand its ground, or 9 if you think this clash could have been avoided. The first reaction on the USS Nitze is fast and sharp. Training prepares the crew for moments like this, but real missiles closing in at supersonic speed change everything. Inside the Combat Information Center, the radar operator calls out the distance as 4 red icons move toward the ship. Each second they jump forward, almost like the screen cannot keep up. The room feels smaller with every update. The captain steps to the center console and orders battle stations. Lights dim, screens brighten, and the ship switches from routine patrol to full combat mode. Sailors run through tight passageways toward their posts, pulling on gear as they move. No one hesitates. They all know time is running out. On the radar screen, the missiles stay low over the waves. Aegis locks on quickly because it has tracked the coastline for weeks. The air defense officer watches the icons change color, showing that firing solutions are ready. When the captain says, "Engage!" the first SM-6 blasts out of the launcher, shaking the deck. A second SM-6 fires seconds later, rising high into the dark sky. The room falls silent as the interceptors reach attack altitude. Then the first SM-6 dives and hits. A bright flash marks the kill. No one celebrates. 3 missiles remain. The second interceptor hits almost immediately, removing another threat. The last 2 missiles begin sharp turns, trying to break the lock. The destroyer adjusts, but the danger rises fast. The third missile gets too close. 2 evolved Sea Sparrow missiles fire from the aft launcher, racing barely above the water. One hits the target. The second destroys the debris to make sure it never recovers. One missile is left, and it is coming in fast. The alarm tone changes. The phalanx CIWS rotates on its own, tracking the final threat. It fires a burst that shakes the ship, sending more than 200 rounds into the air. A bright flash erupts off the port side. The missile detonates close, pushing a shockwave against the hull. The crew braces until the vibration fades. The radar clears. No more threats. The captain orders a damage report. Calls come back quickly. No injuries, no fire, no damage. 4 missiles fired, 4 destroyed. For a moment, the crew stands still, letting it sink in. They just survived a real attack, and they know the next move will shape everything that follows. If you were watching this unfold from the bridge, would you stand firm like the Nitze or pull back? Press 1 to support the crew's response, or 9 if you think another choice was possible. When the last missile vanishes from the radar, the USS Nitze stays tense. No one believes the danger is over. A quiet sky after an attack can be a warning, not relief. Inside the Combat Information Center, the captain orders a full scan of the Venezuelan coast. Sensors sweep the area fast. The electronic warfare team picks up broken radio chatter from the launch site. The voices sound confused and rushed, like a unit unsure of what to do after their first strike failed. On the bridge, sailors watch the horizon. The ocean looks calm, but the crew knows calm water means nothing. The Nitze holds its position. Engines steady, weapons ready. Every second stretches. The ship survived the first attack, but another launch could come at any moment. An intel update arrives. Satellite heat scans show missile trucks pulling away from their firing spots near Puerto Cabello. They are not preparing a second shot. They are retreating. Burn marks on the ground show where the 800 seconds were fired. It is the first sign that Venezuela knows the attack did not work. Even so, the captain keeps the ship in full combat mode. In close-range fights, one hidden launcher or one delayed radar return can turn a clean defense into a crisis. The crew knows this well, so no one lowers their guard. Below deck, engineers check the ship's systems again. Power is steady. Engines are ready. Cooling lines show normal flow. The Nitze can move or fight the moment the captain gives the command. Back in CIC, the air defense officer reviews the logs. The SM-6 intercepts were perfect. The Sea Sparrows hit clean. The CIWS fired at the exact moment it needed to. Every layer worked. But no one forgets how close the last missile came before exploding off the port side. The captain studies the reports and gives the next order. Hold position until command responds. His voice is calm, but the crew knows this choice will shape what happens next in the Caribbean. If you were standing next to him, what would you do? Press 1 to hold the line, or 9 to pull the ship back. Just when the crew thinks the danger might finally be fading, a new contact appears on the Nitze's radar. It is small, low, and moving fast along the coast. Then 2 more dots show up behind it. 3 fast returns in a tight line. That formation is never random. The lookout scans the shoreline through binoculars. Through the thin morning haze, he spots wakes cutting across the water. 3 patrol boats are racing toward the same beach where the missiles were launched. Their speed and formation make one thing clear. Someone sent them with a purpose. Inside CIC, the operations officer checks the radar again. The speeds match Venezuelan patrol craft, but their direction tells the story. They are not searching the area or heading out to sea. They are going straight back to the launch zone, as if ordered to secure it after the failed strike. Moments later, satellite images update. Trucks move near the trees. Antennas rise. Small teams run between vehicles. It looks like a quick effort to hide or collect equipment before the US can see more. This suggests the missile attack was not random. It was planned, and now someone is trying to cover it up. The captain watches the screen. If those boats reach the beach, they can remove gear or destroy evidence. Even without missiles, small craft moving with intent can shift the whole situation. In tight waters, one wrong move can spark a new confrontation. The Nitze holds position, engines steady, weapons ready. Everyone waits for the next order, knowing this moment could decide what happens next. If you were next to the captain, would you act now or wait? Press 1 to move early or 9 to hold. The USS Nitsey reaches the most intense moment of the confrontation. As the 3 fast patrol boats rush toward the launch site, morning light spreads across the water, making their wakes easy to see from the bridge. The boats move in a straight, aggressive line, showing no sign of slowing or shifting course. Every sailor watching knows they are not heading there by accident. Inside CIC, the operations officer gives another update. The boats remain locked on the same path that leads directly to the beach where the missiles were fired. If they reach it, they can clear equipment, hide evidence, or prepare the next step of whatever plan is unfolding on shore. The captain studies the radar. The window to act is closing fast, and every second now matters. On the bridge, the lookout confirms visual contact again. The boats carry no rescue gear or warning lights. Their formation is tight and controlled, moving like a trained unit. They look connected to the same operation that launched the missiles. That makes them more than just small craft. It makes them the next phase of the threat. The captain orders a full readiness check. The main gun is ready. The 50 cals are manned. Engines respond instantly as the ship prepares to move into a blocking position. The crew stands by, waiting for the decision. The captain knows he must choose carefully. A single mistake could turn this into a direct clash with Venezuela, but doing nothing will let the boats reach the site. A new satellite update flashes on the screen. Trucks on the beach are pulling into the trees. Portable antennas rise again. Several small teams move between vehicles. It looks like a rushed effort to secure the entire area before the US learns more. The meaning is clear. Someone is trying to protect the operation behind the attack. The patrol boats close the final stretch of water. The captain waits for the right moment, then gives the order. Come to intercept. The USS Nitsey turns hard, pushing into a position that blocks the boat's path. Its wide wake sends a clear message without a single shot fired. For the first time, the boats hesitate. Their formation breaks. Engines slow. After a tense pause, they turn away from the beach and head back toward deeper water. The Nitsey holds firm, proving control without escalation. If you were on that bridge, would you have made the same call? Press 1 for yes, or 9 for a harder response. When the patrol boats finally turn away, tension on the USS Nitsey starts to ease, but no one on board treats the moment as the end of the situation. The crew knows they just stopped a coordinated plan that could have turned into a regional crisis. They faced a missile strike, saw fast boats push toward the launch site, and watched movement onshore that clearly showed someone was trying to protect the operation. Nothing about the morning was random. It was organized and meant to change the balance in the area. Inside CIC, the captain orders all teams to save and sort every piece of data. Radar logs, satellite updates, and radio intercepts are collected and reviewed. As the information lines up, the full picture becomes hard to ignore. The missiles were prepared in advance. The vehicles near the trees were part of the launch team. And the patrol boats were likely sent to secure the area once the attack ended. The only thing that failed was the strike itself, and the Nitsey made sure the next steps never happened. On deck, sailors return to routine work, though their minds stay on what could have happened. One missile getting through or one reckless maneuver from the patrol boats could have changed the entire balance in the region. Everyone understands how close the morning came to a far larger confrontation. Soon after, new orders arrive. Nearby U.S. ships shift their patrol lines. Surveillance aircraft reposition to monitor the coastline more tightly. The calm Caribbean suddenly feels sharper, as if an invisible grid of activity has formed around it. In Washington, analysts assemble a full timeline. Regional partners request updates, and even distant nations watch closely, trying to understand how this failed strike fits into broader strategic tensions. From the bridge, the captain studies the coastline. The sea looks calm again, but everyone knows calm often masks the next move. Incidents like this don't end when hostile boats retreat, they ripple outward, shaping decisions and reactions far beyond the horizon. USS Nitsey holds steady, alert, and aware. The crew knows this morning will be remembered not only for the attack they survived, but for the larger conflict they quietly stopped.